In this section, we'll go over using QGIS, a free open source software to convert your CAD files into shapefiles. It's best to review the CAD conversion checklist before you move on to use the software. As we begin to use QGIS, make sure you download the latest version of QGIS Desktop and download the templates for the shapefiles that are available in section 1.4. Always check the latest version of the manual to find the most up-to-date sections. For QGIS, you can download the QGIS software, and you can start by converting your CAD file into a DXF file. Sometimes CAD programs already have this installed as an option for exportation. Sometimes you need to use an external open source software converter. So in this case, we use the ODA file converter to convert a CAD file into a DXF file. Feel free to use the easiest software or conversion kit that you might have. The first step is to set up your shapefiles. When you open QGIS, you can set up a folder in your browser pane to go to the folder of your copied attribute templates, and you can set up a project folder for your CAD files, your DXF files, and your shapefiles. Before you make a copy of your templates for wetlands transition area footprint of disturbance, prepare your templates for the metadata associated to your organization. Once you export these templates that you need for your particular project, you can then further edit the metadata for specific project-specific contact information or dates associated to this project. I would suggest to take the templates, put them into the layers pane, right-click on the layer, and click Properties. You'll see a window pop up on the left-hand side. You have many different options for symbology or source information, but you're going to click on the Metadata tab. You can save the abstract for the specific project, but as your organization, most likely you'll use the same name or contact information for your organization and the position of the person who's working on the GIS data or the surveyor. Fill out this information for each layer, click Apply, and OK. Repeat these steps for the wetland shapefile templates, transition area shapefile templates, site shapefile templates, and footprint of disturbance. Once you have edited this information, placing the name, your organization, and any other information that you would like to include for the context, click OK. Right-click on the layer and hit Export and Save Feature As. So in this instance, we're going to go over a footprint of disturbance. The requirements for a footprint of disturbance is a footprint of disturbance template and a site shapefile template. So for the specific project, I'm going to export the footprint of disturbance template into my working folder. For consistency, try not to create spaces in the names of the shapefiles or characters. Stick to letters and underscores. So we're copying over the footprint of disturbance template, keeping the coordinate reference system as NAD 1983, the same as the template, and keeping all the field names the same. So there's really not much editing or setting up going here. Persist layer metadata, make sure that is clicked, so any metadata that you edited prior to the export will remain in the copy. You can add this file to the map, or you can just keep it in the folder that you saved it in. So we'll click OK. We'll repeat the same step for the site shapefile, export, save as. LOI site, keeping everything else the same. And then, just not to make things confusing, we'll remove all the templates that we don't need to keep in our layer pane. And you can see now that the copies of our templates are in our working folder that I labeled as Shapefiles. Make sure that you've already converted your CAD file into a DXF file. Once you're ready to bring in your CAD file, you have to bring in a special tool, the DXF Import/Converter tool. QGIS does not automatically come in with this tool. If you need to download the tool, click on Plugins, Manage and Install Updates, and you can look up DXF and as you can see, another DXF importer plugin will be available. If you already have the plugin installed, you'll see an option to uninstall the plugin, or you can reinstall it or upgrade it if that's a current option. Once you install the plugin, you'll find the plugin under Vector, DXF Import and Converter, and you can click on the tool. Browse to the location of your DXF file, and you can select your output path, which in this case, we want our temporary CAD converted files to go into our shapefile folder. You can use the same color that you have in your CAD files, or you can uncheck the box, but pretty much everything else stays the same. Click on Import. And just click Close. An important thing to note is that we want our coordinate reference system to be defined. Generally speaking, when CAD files come in, they might not be defined with a coordinate reference system. So make sure that your group is set to the projected coordinate system for NAD 1983. And you can do that by right-clicking on the entire group for your CAD files that came in and set group to CRS and click on the coordinate reference system. Finding our individual polygons that we want to migrate into our template shapefiles, we'll start with the site shapefile boundary. So you can see here, there's an individual layer for the site shapefile. You can zoom to that layer to make sure that you can see it. And you can open the attribute table pane. Once you open the pane, you can dock that pane onto your program, so it's just a little easier to navigate and see everything. So in this instance, we're really not trying to bring in any of the attributes that we have automatically from the CAD program. We're just trying to bring in the polygon into the template that we want to use. So you can select the site boundary by clicking on the row, making sure it's the site boundary that you wanted to select, and hit the edit mode. Once you hit the edit mode, you can look at the options on the top and click on copy selected rows. Open the site shapefile attribute template. You can dock the template as well, and here you can pan through your site shapefile template or your site boundary CAD file. Once you open the site shapefile template, click on the edit button and click on the paste button. You can see now that the polygon has been copied into the shapefile template. The next step is to fill out the ELOI attributes for site shapefile. If you go back to the manual, you can see in the appendix the attribute table requirements to help you fill out this section. In the site shapefile, you want to fill out the ELOI type, and in this instance, we're working on a footprint of disturbance FWLI2. So in your edit mode, you can simply click within the row and the field that you want to edit, and I would recommend copy and pasting certain values into the fields to know that you're not adding additional spaces or any typos here. In the LOI F type field, we want to put S for site. The firm name, add your organization's name, add the surveyor's name, add the surveyor's license number. You can select the plan date. If there is no revised date, leave it as null. To follow more guidance on the accuracy, look over the horizontal description accuracies, the measurements, and the reliability of the data, and just fill this out accordingly. Once you are done editing, you can save your edits and go out of editing mode by clicking on the edit button as well. You can do this for both your CAD file layer and your site shapefile layer. You can remove these, uncheck the CAD layer, and just make sure that the polygon is in the correct template. Open up the attribute table, make sure that it has everything that you need there. Once you are complete testing if your polygon was transferred into the LOI site boundary, you want to repeat these steps for any other required shapefiles, whether it's the wetland shapefiles, the template shapefiles, or the footprint of disturbance shapefiles. In this instance, we'll work on a footprint of disturbance, and just note that for a footprint of disturbance, you can only have one footprint of disturbance per application. Each footprint of disturbance must be under 1 acre in size, otherwise the system will not accept the shapefile. When you open your CAD file and navigate to your footprint of disturbance, right-click on the layer and open the attribute table. Remember, you can always dock the pane for ease. Highlight the polygon that you want to copy over. Click on the editor mode and click Copy Selected Features. Open up the footprint of disturbance, shapefile attributes, dock the shapefile, click Edit, and click Paste. So you can see in the top right now the footprint of disturbance has migrated. And just note that these two shapefile templates are fairly similar, just with small differences. In the site shapefile, you have the LOI type listed and the type of feature, in this case that was the site boundary. In the footprint of disturbance, you only need to put the type of feature, which in this case is F for footprint of disturbance, and you can repeat the same information that you have in your site template. So in this case, you can copy and paste the same information or just repeat what you already have. And remember to save your edits and turn off editing mode. You always want to check that your site shapefile templates, your footprint of disturbance templates, and any other templates that you might use, you don't have any issues with overlapping vertices, and you don't have any issues with boundaries that extend beyond the site boundary. One of the things that you want to ensure is that there are no self-intersecting vertices or boundaries, and no boundaries from the footprint of disturbance or a wetland shapefile or a transition area shapefile that extend beyond the boundaries of the site. There are two tools that you can use to help make sure that these things are not happening. Under the Processing tab, click on Toolbox and just start to search for the tool Fix Geometry. Under Vector Geometry, double click on that tool, select the LOI site, and then later select the LOI footprint, and you can just run that tool, make sure that any geometries there are fixed. Make sure you run that for all your shapefiles. And in the event that you have any boundaries that extend beyond your site boundary, you can type in clip into the processing toolbox, and you can put in your footprint of disturbance layer, and you can put in your site boundary and run the clip tool to get an output. Once you're done with all of these things, you are ready to do the final step of packaging your zip shapefile. You can close your program, save your project if you like, when you go into your shapefile folder, you will see that you have your prepared shapefiles, and you want to change your .qmd's metadata file extension into an extension that's accepted through the Esri shapefile format. Simply double click and change .qmd into .shape.xml, and you want to make sure that you do this for all your QMD shapefile extensions so that it's in the proper format. Once you do that, select all your shapefiles and the extensions, components associated to that shapefile. Right click, send to a zip folder. Try to name this consistently without any spaces or extra characters. And now your shapefile is ready to be submitted into the RSP service.